Everyone has a story. Stories have power. They help us understand. Jessop's Journal is a collection of powerful, positive, and inspirational stories. It's time for Jessop's Journal.
I'm Doug Jessop. Welcome to Jessop's Journal. There's a phrase that goes something to the nature of the thrill of victory, the agony of defeat. You know which one I'm talking about. Today we visit with a sportscaster with a powerful message, Mr. Wesley Ruff.
I was just so stupid and so naive. I just thought, I can do that. I can do that. I can do that. And the whole time I was in college, when they told me I was no good and there were no sportscasting jobs, I just kept thinking, I can do that.
Yeah.
I can do that.
Sure. Sometimes we all need to take a break. Sports is a great way to do that. Sometimes watching it, sometimes being in it. You know what? You get the point. Well, we are going to visit with a gentleman that has a very positive story. And, well, you can't recognize him without his uniform.
I've had 10 surgeries and 27 torn ligaments, tendons, and muscles, and 158 staples and stitches.
Later in the show, we visit with a woman that has an incredible inspirational story. She has overcome a lot herself, and now she's helping others recover from what I'd call the wonderful world of regret. Miss Jillian Marty.
You take a tragedy and you take the scars from it and you build from it, and you make something better.
We got to add some music, right? Sydney Keddington is going to entertain us today. Oh my gosh, incredible voice.
I went to the doctor, I went to the mountains, I looked to the children, I drank from the fountain. There's more than one answer to these questions, only in a crooked line.
But first, Wesley Ruff. It's time to sign in the book.
Okay. No. Is there a drum roll?
I've known you for a long time, and
I've been around for a long time.
Well, yeah, we both have. And so the question is, for people that are watching this, how in the heck do we know each other?
TV business, right?
How did you get into the TV business?
Do you want the honest story? 'Cause
Please.
It's embarrassing.
Okay, well, hey, we love embarrassing.
I was majoring in international relations, hoping to find some company that would send me back to Japan so I could work there and speak Japanese. And I'm watching television one night at home, like 21 years old, watching Channel 2, watching Bill Marcroft, who we always used to watch. And it dawned on me that that was his job, because I seriously thought that those guys had real jobs during the day and would go in and do that for fun at night. Because I would have done it for fun. If somebody said, hey, you can go in and do sports for fun, I'm like, okay, great. And then I thought, wait, if that's his job, then I wonder if you can major in it. And I looked in my college curriculum under sportscasting, and there was nothing.
Right.
I'm like, what else would it be? And I checked broadcasting, saw a major, broadcast journalism, and I went down and changed my major the next day. If I'd have known anything about it, I wouldn't have done it.
Yeah, well,
Because I would have been too afraid.
Yeah.
But I was just so stupid and so naive, I just thought, I can do that. I can do that. I can do that. And the whole time I was in college, when they told me I was no good and there were no sportscasting jobs, I just kept thinking, I can do that.
Yeah.
I can do that.
sure.
So when I graduated and was unemployed for 3 months because there were no jobs,
Yeah.
I was thinking, maybe I made a mistake.
What was your first job?
Bismarck, North Dakota,
Wow.
KFYR.
Okay, what were you doing there?
I was doing everything. I worked 6 days a week. I was the photographer, I was the anchor, I was the reporter, did it all. I typed in all the graphics, shot my own stuff, and I was making no money. They hired me for $1,050 a month.
Wow.
And it was, Bismarck's just, it's not the end of the earth, but you can see it from there.
Yeah.
And just freezing cold. I drove a Vet.
Wow. Okay.
Well, it was a Chevette, not a Corvette.
Well,
It was a Chevette.
yeah, a vet. Okay.
I called it a vet.
I got it.
And I would drive home at night, 35 degrees below zero temperature, making $1,000 a month, $1,050, and it never lasted. And covering, there's no professional sports or college sports there. We're covering JV volleyball games, and I would drive home at night and think, this is awesome! They're paying me to do this. This is so cool.
I know.
I loved it.
I get it.
Loved it.
Yeah, and the pay you were getting just barely covered the heat bill there,
Yeah,
probably.
right? Yeah, it was so bad.
Wow, that's crazy. Where did you grow up?
Grew up in Springville. Born and raised. My folks are still in the same house I was raised in. Mom just turned 83 yesterday, and Dad's 89. And
What was life for Wesley Ruff growing up?
great. Close with my brother and sister, and had really good friends when I got in high school. I give all the credit to any success that I have in life to my friends from high school.
Really?
Just a great bunch of guys. We all played sports, and most of the the jocks have a reputation of being just jocks, and but every one of my friends graduated with honors or high honors.
Wow.
One right now is an ambassador for the United States. One is a couple of them are lawyers. One in Orlando, one here in Salt Lake. One's a dentist. One ran a trucking company. And then I ended up on television. But
Yeah.
I mean, we had a really good group of guys, and again, we all cared about athletics and cared about academics, and the teachers loved us because we were good students, and they were nice to people. And
Well, you've been in the business long enough. You've got some contacts and such. So the question that I'm wondering is, who was like one of the coolest people that you got to golf with?
I just golfed with one of the coolest ones yesterday.
Oh yeah,
Bruce Summerhays.
really?
Yep. He and I and Randy Dodson from Fairways Magazine went down and played Alpine Country Club on a perfect, gorgeous day on a perfect course, and Bruce is one of the all-time great people. It was great, but I played with Mike Weir, Mike Reed, caddied for both of those in tournaments, both those guys. Played with Bill Murray,
Really?
Park City.
Oh, that'd be a crazy one.
Played with Alice Cooper.
Now, is he a good golfer?
Alice Cooper's a great golfer. He plays
Really?
every single day.
Really?
Callaway put him on their advisory board because he plays every day.
Whoa.
Yeah, he's good. Yeah, I would have liked to have played with Arnold Palmer.
Oh,
I
yeah.
played with Lee Trevino in a pro-am,
Oh yeah.
but I'd love to have played with Palmer. Mm-hmm. He was my idol.
Have you ever gotten a hole in one?
Got my first one this summer.
Serious.
First one.
There you go.
61 years old. I played a lot of golf. And I finally knocked one in up at Crater Springs at the Homestead on hole number 2.
Oh wow. I do know, and I've seen you a couple times when you've been golfing or doing something, and you've got all the formal up top, but party on the bottom.
For 25 years, I did summer, spring, summer, fall. I did every show in golf shorts and gym shoes or flip-flops.
Kind of on a more serious note, stuff happens that kind of puts things in perspective.
Yep.
Has anything like that ever happened to you?
Yeah, I lost my wife to breast cancer, 2006. She fought it for 8 years, and yeah, it's funny because I would. You talk about how it changes your perspective. I used to get really mad at work when I couldn't get a photographer or the video didn't work, and then when she got sick, like that kind of stuff didn't matter anymore. And I remember several times Marius Payton, who worked with us, I'd be home and he'd call me up and go, "Hey, they're not going to give us a photographer to go shoot Utah basketball." And I'm like, "And? My wife's sick. Doesn't really matter."
Yeah.
And yeah, so I learned some perspective through that.
So what kind of things have you passed down to your kids?
Man, I'd be
Or are you
curious-
trying to?
I'd be curious to hear what they said
Yeah?
to that question. When Arnold Palmer passed away, I called all of them and said, I want you to, if anybody ever asks you who your dad idolized and respected, I want you to say Arnold Palmer.
Really?
Because of just the way he treated people and the way he looked people in the eye and the way he just was a gentleman in all aspects of the game and life. And I wanted them to know that that was somebody that I looked up to. I hope I've taught them hard work. And
The other thing is, and I've had people come up to me and say, that they would love to be you. Serious, because they're going, okay, here's a guy that they have no idea what the work that goes on behind a TV, but it's like, hey, this guy gets to play golf and watch, basketball and football and all that stuff for a living.
Yeah, I hear that a lot. I do know that I have a job that 98% of the guys in the state would give their left arm to have, and I try not to, take that lightly. But it's funny that a lot of people just think all I do is go to games and read a couple of scores on the air, and that's my job. But a little more to it than that.
If I remember correctly, you are the longest running sportscaster in the entire state of Utah.
Have been for several years now. Yep.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
And thank you very much for coming on Jessop's Journal.
Thanks.
One of my favorite inspirational quotes is from Audrey Hepburn. She said, "To plant a garden is to believe in tomorrow." Everyone has a story. Sometimes those stories are told through music. It's time for Jessop's Jukebox. Closer to Fine was the first hit song for a group called the Indigo Girls. What in the world does Closer to Fine mean? Well, the way they explained it, there's not just one source that has all the answers. You need a little bit here, a little bit there. You put it all together, make your own decisions. And if you do that, you're going to be closer to Fine. Here's Sydney Keddington with her version.
I'm trying to tell you something about my life. Maybe give me insight between black and white. And the best thing you've ever done for me is to help me take my life as seriously. It's only life after all. Where darkness has a hunger that's insatiable, and lightness has a cold that's hard to hear. I wrap my fear around me like a blanket. I sailed my ship of safety till I sank it, crawling on your shore. I went to the doctor, I went to the mountains, I looked to the children, I drank from the fountain. There's more than one answer to these questions, only in a crooked line. The less I seek my source for some definitive, closer I am to find. Closer I am to find. I walked into the bar around 3 a.m. to seek solace in a bottle, possibly a friend. I woke up with a headache like my head against the board. Twice as cloudy as I've been the night before. I went in seeking clarity. I went to the doctor, I went to the mountains, I looked to the children, I drank from the fountain. We go to the Bible, we go through the workout, we read up on revival, we stand up for the lookout. There's more than one answer to these questions, pointing me in a crooked line. The less I seek my source for some definitive, closer I am to find. Closer I am to find.
Yeah, I'm the TV hat guy. This pin, I picked it up in Austria. This hat's called a Rex. When you go to a basketball game, you get entertained by professional athletes. Well, dad joke alert here. This next person we visited with is a very positive person.
John, it's time to sign into Jessop's Journal.
Sweet. I'm excited. Do you have to watch? It doesn't make, it's got to be sentimental. Okay, here we go. Brother, that was amazing. Thank you.
Boys and girls, children of all ages, in today's Jessop's Journal, wearing 00, a teddy bear kind of guy, from East Grand Forks, Minnesota, John Absey.
Wow, that was pretty amazing. That was Dan Robert-esque right there.
So for people that don't know Dan Roberts and the little comment there and, you know, the teddy bear and all kinds of stuff, introduce yourself.
My name is John Absey. I was the original jazz bear for 25 years. And I got out here, like you said, I was from East Grand Forks, Minnesota. And by complete chance and luck, I made it to Utah to be the mascot for the Jazz.
How in the world did you get into be a jazz bear in the first place?
It was totally by accident. It actually found me. I had worked in a bunch of CBA teams, which was the Continental Basketball Association, while I was in college. Because when I was in college, I was going to Morehead State University for political science and pre-law. And I was, as a part-time job, I was working for the Fargo-Moorhead Acro team. And I lied on my application and said I was a gymnast. And I went in and I just would watch what everybody else was doing to correct gymnastic movements.
Okay.
And I just taught myself. And then after classes, I would stick around and I literally taught myself how to tumble and how to do backflips, along with a plethora of other people like, Mark Strege and Mike Seiner and Steve. Anyway, but there was a ton of people and that helped me kind of just get my gymnastics in. But then a team came to the gym and asked if there was anybody there that wanted to be their mascot in Fargo, North Dakota, which was the Fargo Fever at the time. Poor college kid, you've been there, where it was $25 a night.
There you go. Back then,
Couldn't
probably
pass it
pretty
up.
good money, yeah.
So then, fast forwarding as I worked there, then I was in Winnipeg, Manitoba for a summer job, and then I was in Sioux Falls, South Dakota for the Sioux Falls Sky Force, which is another CBA team. And came out here to do tryouts because I heard that they were having tryouts, and literally got the job offer from Seattle, Sacramento, and Utah.
Wow.
Didn't call anybody back.
Why?
I was scared, little farm boy. So I was just afraid to move away from the farm, and it was just comfortable for me. And Grant Harrison, thank heavens, called me and was just like, so did you take a job with another team? And I was just like, no. And he's like, I could tell that you could almost hear him thinking like, well, what the heck? So then he said, well, what are you thinking about doing? And I said, I don't really know. And he said, well, why don't you come out to Utah? And I said, okay. And then literally it all started from there.
In basketball, okay, here is, they're going to do a screen, they're going to do blah, 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 blah. Is there kind of a vernacular of say, okay, this is the name of the skit or the action of the play. Say, okay, Bear, I want you to do this. Because for example, everybody knows, and I think you're mildly crazy to do this, but the one going down the stairs.
Yep.
Okay. Does that have a name? Or is it just going down the stairs?
Just going down the stairs. Yeah,
Okay.
It's just my sled. So I was really fortunate with our team that Grant Harrison trusted me so much. He literally when I got there, he was just like, listen, you're the mascot, I'm not. And he goes, I'm trusting that you know what you're doing. And he also said, I'm going to give you enough rope to hang yourself, so don't hang yourself.
Well, he's a great guy, so I understand.
He's awesome. He is really what helped get the character to where it was, because he took the time to listen and understand what was going on and looked at both sides. So he was an integral part to where the program went. Plus, back in the day, everybody in the organization that, put their hands in to help a little bit here and there. But, all in all, I was kind of an island, and they trusted me enough to do what I was doing, if that makes sense. I know a million times I'd walk in with these ideas on what to do. Like one time I wanted to parachute out of the upper bowl, or out of the rafters.
Okay.
And we went in and we practiced with the dummy doll, and it was just a round chute. And it was actually because I was in the military, and it was a parachute that I had found, and it was for an incendiary round, or a illumination round for him to parachute in. And I thought, that might hold me, at least slow me down enough so I can hit. We went in and we practiced, and I remember they were just like, no. You're not
the
jumping out of
liability on you has got to be insane, right?
So, that was fun. They at least let me try, and think way outside the box. They pulled me back in to save my life many a times.
So what was your favorite stunt to do?
Sled.
Sled.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sled was it was so fun because it was, I just got to know how to drive that sled, and it was fun, and I loved how fast you were going down the stairs, and I loved when you hit the bottom, there was a chance that you were gonna wreck, so there was I don't know, I really liked it, because even if I wrecked it, I knew I wasn't gonna be injured that bad. Does that make sense?
Kind of, but because I've had people, I was telling people before coming here, saying, okay, I'm going to be interviewing John Absey, the former Jazz Bear. What kind of questions do you want me to ask? And so people were going, were you ever afraid of hitting the pole or having somebody come out of the aisle?
All the time. I always knew that if I wasn't afraid of something, that it would bite me in the butt. Does that make sense? There has
okay.
to be a little bit of fear for you to respect what you're doing. You know, have a little respect for the danger in that.
Gotcha.
The biggest fear that I had though was hurting somebody else. That was the last thing I wanted. I'd rather, you know, snap my leg than hurt somebody when they stepped out or did something. But I was really fortunate. Knock on wood.
Yeah.
Really fortunate that I was able to do 25 years and you know, basically come away unscathed.
Wow. Well, I'm not sure unscathed. Okay, so
You know what I
so
mean.
Let's talk about that. Okay. So I've got some screws in my back, but I'm pretty sure you got a whole bunch of more injuries than I do. So what kind of battle scars, so to speak, do you have?
Oh man, so I've had 10 surgeries and 27 torn ligaments, tendons, and muscles, and 158 staples and stitches, which, if you were Travis Pastrana, that's nothing.
Yeah, but well, the fact that you know you've had 158, not 157, 158 staples and stitches.
Yeah.
I mean, so somebody's keeping track of that. Maybe it's the insurance company. I'm not sure.
A little bit. So no, I mean, you know, there were a ton of injuries, but you know, fun injuries, if nothing else.
Yeah.
They're good stories.
At the same time, I look at you on this ladder. Okay, how tall was that big, huge ladder?
23 feet.
23 feet.
Yep.
Wow. Okay, that had to, I mean, I don't think you just go to, you know, Home Depot to go pick that one
No,
up.
I
mean,
was really fortunate that I had a really good relationship with Little Giant Ladder, and they're the ones who built that ladder, plus, you know, built all my other ladders that I used. Because I was really into heights. I don't know why, it was just something that, so when I was working, I always was, you know, I'd go to these conferences, I'd see what everybody, because we all had to give a highlight video, and I was watching, and so it's kind of a peek into everybody's arena, and I was seeing what everybody was doing, and when I would come back out of it, I was like, okay, what isn't anybody doing? So I'd have to sit and think that I want to be new and creative, and that's where the ladder started. And then it started out where I was on the ladder and holding signs, and then other mascots started copying it. So then I was like, okay, I gotta do something better. So I did a handstand.
gosh.
And then I caught wind that a couple other mascots were doing it. So then I was like, all right, I'll do a one-armed handstand. And you know what I mean? So that's really what pushed me, is I loved to share information, because then what happens in my mind is when people would copy it, it would just push me to be more creative.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
yeah.
Instead of hiding it and, okay, I'm just gonna do this, I was constantly trying to think outside the box.
Life kind of comes with scars. It comes with the patina, the wear, the this and the other. So how does John Absey want to leave your mark?
That's a good question. I think you hit it on the head. I mean, that is why I really am still trying to pursue all the charity stuff. Why I started all the charity work when I was the Bear, because I mean, I just feel so blessed. I was raised in a great little town in a great school with great friends. I mean, I've just had so many positive things in my life. And when I got this job, I just needed to give back. I wanted to say thank you to the fans and the community for embracing it. I mean, seriously, I mean, it was kind of shocking how many people just said, okay, you're our guy. And I wanted to give back by doing charity work. And now that I'm done, I still want to continue that. And I think the biggest thing about living life is giving back and knowing that when I leave this earth, I left a footprint on it, and I have a full church. And I mean, I guess that's all I keep thinking about, is I just want to know that I made a difference in somebody else's life. And I don't want to be, you know, that guy that just takes, and I don't care about money. I don't look at money as important. I just look at relationships, and I value my time with my family and my friends.
Well,
How'd that
John,
sound?
I value your time coming here on Jessop's Journal. Thank you
Man,
so much.
I love you. Thank you so much. This is great. I really appreciate everything. And then let me know if I can ever do something for you.
You got it.
All right, buddy.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Life is never boring. Sometimes you have something I like to call the wonderful world of regret. If you've ever had a tattoo or permanent makeup that you've fallen out of love with? The folks at Tattoo Away have come up with a pretty cool system that literally removes the ink out of the skin. I have a soft spot in my heart for single moms. They go through a lot. And this next lady, she's a great example to her sons, but she's also helping others that are looking to get a fresh start.
You take a tragedy and you take the scars from it and you build from it and you make something better.
Jillian Marty found herself a single mom of 2 young children after the unexpected death of her husband.
The very first Christmas after I started my business, my little guy was, 6, and he just said, I guess you're probably not going to be able to make it to my program. And I said, well, actually, no, I can, since Mommy started her business. And when I walked in that gymnasium and saw him up there looking around and was able to connect with him, I was like, I'm doing the right thing. I have to fight for this. I don't have an option. And that was kind of my drive behind opening my own business so that I could be more available for their lives.
She responded by starting her own business called Lavish Brow.
It is a professional microblading and now laser-free tattoo removal with Tattoo Away certified center.
I'm guessing that you may have seen a couple tattoos or even microblading that didn't quite go right?
Yes. 9 times out of 10, it's regret. I thrive on the people that come in from prison and say, I was in a bad place. Will you remove these teardrops? Or if there's any kind of gang symbols or something like that, that they want a fresh start.
What does Jillian like the most about what she does?
So it's really just building up another human and seeing that drastic before and after, the appreciation that I see in their face just when it's done. Or the people that, cry after they get their new brows because they lost all of them during chemo. And I'm like, this is very gratifying for me to be able to give back.
She has advice for other entrepreneurs.
You have to believe in your heart of hearts that it's something that can thrive if it really is going to last. It's about what you're trying to achieve with the people that you help.
Admit it, your mom taught you to wash your hands, and I hope you're listening to her. Okay, so listen to me. You need to wash your nose too. Clear nasal spray washes away the bacteria and helps you breathe better. So come on, join me. Take a deep breath and relax. Thanks for watching this episode of Jessop's Journal. It's my honor to be able to tell powerful, positive, and inspirational stories every week on TV and at jessopsjournal.com. Everyone has a story. Stories have power. They help us understand each other. With another entry into Jessop's Journal, I'm Doug Jessop.